like to call to order this meeting.
Recording in progress.
Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners, January 8th meeting, our first official full meeting of the year. All commissioners are present and accounted for. We did meet in executive session to discuss matters of real estate and personnel. And we'll now turn to a pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence. And thank you for the honor of Mr. Norfolk from presenting the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everybody. Good job, Dick. That was great. Okay, we'll begin with petitions, complaints, and suggestions from citizens. Does anybody wish to address the board today? All right, hearing none. We want to approve of minutes from our December 11th, 2025 meeting.
Mr. President, I'd like to move for approval of the minutes for December 11th, 2025. I do know that the agenda says 2026, but yeah, obviously it was 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Next up is recognitions and presentations, and we'll begin with our 2024 financial audit. Tracy, you want to introduce these folks and give us an honor?
This is Kim Shank and Kayla from the, we'll do it.
You do it.
I'm Kim Stank from Zellenkowski Axelrod. With me today is Kayla Key, and we would like to thank you all. We're going to do a quick audit presentation. So we've done your 2024 audit. It's a little later this year than normal, but you have some changes. So other than that, though, it was a very good audit. And I won't spoil it, I'll let Kayla tell you about the opinion, but you received two things from us. The first thing is the letter of governance, and that is our letter to you. And it talks about your responsibilities as those charged with governance and our responsibilities as your independent auditor. It goes through a couple things and talks about significant areas, risks, as well as estimates. And those are very similar to prior years. So I won't spend a whole lot of time on that. We would like to thank Tracy. I didn't do that at first. So transition, you guys had some transition, new manager and new accounting staff and new consultants. But actually it went pretty smoothly. There was, we started a little bit later just because they were in the transition piece of it. But other than that, our audit went very smoothly. So we were very pleased with that and thank them for all the work that they've done. And now I'm going to turn it over to Kayla to talk about the financial statements as a whole.
Hi. So we issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion. It's the highest level of assurance we can offer for an audit. If you look at the financial audit that was provided to you, you'll see the opinion on page 3. Well, it's the first page, is the opinion. And then after the opinion, you'll come to the MD&A. Reviewing this is a great way to see the changes in activity during the year. And then next you will see after the MD&A on, I believe it's around page 12, you'll see the government-wide statements, which shows a positive $6,462,047 in net position. This was an increase in about $1.8 million from the prior year. You can see the explanation for this change in the MD&A. I also want to note that this year you guys did adopt GASB 101, which has to do with compensated absences. It increases the liability, but it only did slightly. Overall, it did not have a major impact on your financials government-wide. Then you will also note on the statement of activities on page 13 that there was a restatement that you will see further explanations of in note 18 on page 73 of the financials. And then continuing on to the fund level balance sheet, we will see all funds have a $51 million total fund balance, about 7.6 of which was unassigned. The general fund, which is your main operating fund, ended this year with a fund balance of $48 million, 7.6 of which was unassigned. Looking at the income statement, you will see the change in fund balance was a positive 10.2 million, in large part due to the drawing down of the remaining debt on behalf of the authority. You will also note that part of the error correction runs through the fund level statements as well. On page 18 and 19, you will see the pension trust fund as a net position of approximately 43.6 million. This year we didn't have a single audit, and I don't think we'll have one anytime soon either. Do you have any questions regarding the financials?
Jen, yes, without a great deal of details, besides the auditing findings, and thank you for that, I think we have a very long and successful track record of audit reports because of what you mentioned with the diligence of staff. Do you have an opinion on the health of the township? Not the fiscal controls, but
Sure. If you look at the fund balance, and that's the one thing we pointed out to you, your general fund balance was the unassigned piece of it was 7.6 million. So that's at the end of last year. So that's pretty healthy. And you typically want to have enough to maintain at least a few months worth of your operating salaries. So that's a pretty healthy fund balance. And you had, on the entity-wide, you did have a positive change overall. So good news.
okay. I thought your opinion would be important because you see quite a lot of financials
Sure.
from other municipalities, and we'd certainly take any recommendation. We just finished a budget, we're going to start one up pretty soon. So,
It's always that endless cycle of
Yes.
budgets, right?
Yes.
And then continuously monitoring the budgets
Yes.
throughout the year, so.
yeah, we just find ourselves in a position where we're always looking for something new, not just a fiscal control, but revenue or a lowering of cost.
Sure.
So
And
anything that you might.
we always talk about, the liabilities that are under entity-wide, they're always large. You have your debt, you have your pension, you have your OPEB, so those things are always very large, not immediate things. So they're not things that you need, the one-year picture of it, you don't need, that's over time is the large debt. we're talking
And I think
about.
that's important to understand that context.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question of there was a statement in your letter, significant risks, management override of controls, and also improper revenue recognition. And the sentence following that, I kind of didn't understand. It says, although these significant risks were identified, we designed our audit procedures to mitigate the risk. Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure. The AICPA has given us, and that's one of the governing body that we follow is their guidance. They have created risks that every entity, whether you are a construction company, whether you're a township, every audit that happens has risks. And those are the two risks that they're saying every audit will have. So then we just do procedures to mitigate those risks. We make sure, we try to see, does management have override control? So what would they do? So we just do procedures. And unfortunately, this is one of the things that we have to tell you about. And we get questions all the time about why do we have this wording in? It's standard wording from the AICPA that asks us to tell you those things. But we did not note anything that needs to be discussed with you.
Oh, okay.
Could you give me an example of something that would be a risk that would show up in that, since you have to do that?
Sure.
What could possibly show up that you could put your finger on and say, here's a risk?
Sure. So one thing is journal entries. And if management can go in and make journal entries without approvals, that's one of the things that could do without support. So the one thing we'll do is we'll do a sampling of journal entries. And we'll make sure that, there's approvals, there's support for those journal entries.
Thanks.
So, sure. And the other one is improper revenue recognition. That is just pretty much what it says. Recognizing revenue in the wrong year.
So record keeping is.
Correct. So we'll look to see, is revenue properly recognized as part of the testing that we do. Any other questions?
Any other questions?
Thank you. Again, we thank Tracy, we thank Teresa, and pretty smooth transition, so we look forward to seeing you.
When does the next round start? Next week?
Unfortunately, we just talked about it. We're hoping to start in April. Again, we typically need to wait until your actual reports come in, so we don't anticipate actually issuing unless you get them earlier than usually. They usually get them in the summer, so we usually issue in September. But if you get the information earlier, we can finish up earlier. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. So we need to consider accepting the report.
Motion to accept the audit.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to reports of committees, buildings and grounds.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report for building and grounds.
All right. Budget and finance, Commissioner Sanderson.
I have no reports, just to keep everyone in mind. Budgeting process probably starts about April and May. We'll let everyone know. In the meantime, all the big picture stuff that we had at the end of last year is carrying over to this year. So we always have irons in the fire. Doug is always asking for grants, and we always have engineering projects. Please keep those things in mind as the year unfolds. Let us know what you think. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works, Commissioner Knapp.
Yes, Mr. President. The Public Works Department continues the preparation for the winter season to ensure residents can travel safely across the township. The Public Works Department understands the importance of reliable travel and works to keep the township roadways as free of snow as possible. Mr. President, the township urges the public to prepare their vehicles now. This ends my report.
Does anybody still use chains on their tires?
Not that I'm aware of.
Where is? I don't know.
Does anybody have winter tires? Yeah.
That's a good question.
That's all season.
Yeah.
Real good all season.
Studs. Remember that?
It's a family show.
Mercedes and Audi's got winter time.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Okay. Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Hisser.
Yes, Mr. President, this real brief Christmas tree pickup will be this coming Saturday and the following Saturday. And I believe the first yard waste of the spring will be actually on the first full day of spring, March 21st.
Okay.
That concludes my report.
75 days.
Rain and speak of. Thank you very much. Admin and Personnel, Commissioner Knapp.
Yes, Mr. President. We are hiring. Susquehanna Township is growing, and we need a human resource director to lead our HR department. We offer competitive benefits, a stable municipal pension, and the chance to lead a dedicated team of public servants. And if you know of anyone with 5+ years of HR management experience and a passion for community service, please apply. This ends my report, sir.
All right, thank you. Police, Commissioner Engel.
No report.
Thank you. Fire and EMS, Commissioner Hisro.
Again, Mr. President, very briefly, we do have our quarterly meeting coming up in less than 2 weeks, and I suspect I'll have more to say at the next regular meeting.
Thank you. And I would note that Commissioner Norford is going to be liaison with EMS, so look forward to reports from you.
Do I get to say no report?
You met. It's preferred.
Yeah, no report.
That's fine. Thank you. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Rothrock.
Thank you, Mr. President. There was a planning commission meeting on the, well, yeah,
The other day.
December 22nd. That's right. I'm looking back at last year, but that was when the last one was. At that meeting, Frank Chevnicow was reelected as chair. Mitch Kemp was elected as vice chair for 2026. There was one item on the agenda, which was Susquehanna Union Green Phase 2D. It's in the 9th Ward. There was a final land development plan for constructing a 1,140 square foot kiosk building adjacent to the event space there called the Central Green. In the development there, the building will contain public restrooms, equipment storage, and a small kiosk for the sale of refreshments. That plan was recommended for approval by the board, subject to conditions, one of which included an operations plan for those public spaces that included the maintenance of those facilities, which was a question raised by the Planning Commission. There also was a zoning hearing board last night. Beryl Kerr was elected chair and Ember Jennifer was vice chair for 2026. There was one item on the agenda which was 1000 Nationwide Drive in the 4th Ward. A company called Storage 5 Capital City PA LLC, who has a sales agreement on that property, proposes to establish a self-storage facility in it's the Nationwide building. I think we're all familiar with that there. 3-story large office building. It's been vacant for 5 years. The reason they needed a variance is because it was located in the commercial highway zoning district and storage facilities are not permitted by the ordinance in that district. One thing that came to light was that the storage facility will be all indoor storage and there will be no outdoor storage on the parking lot, which had been previously considered. The variance was granted unanimously, so I think we're going to be hearing more about this coming down the road in the future. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. School Board Liaison, Commissioner Cross.
No reports.
Thank you. Authority, Commissioner Sanders.
Yes, thank you. Briefly, the authority is continuing its multi-decade operation to consent to the state's requirement to clean up broken sewer pipes and, of course, improve stormwater control. Just in stormwater, the authority, I think, is preparing to spend on one project $2 to $3 million. And of course, ongoing repairs to the sewer system are part of the larger, broader network of sewer pipes that all feed into the city of Harrisburg sewer treatment system. Keep in mind that most of this spending is mandated by the state and federal government. And if you ever wonder what's going on in your neighborhood because the streets are being dug up, it's probably because we're fixing the pipes, the infrastructure for the next 50 to 100 years. The good news is that the authority does repair the roads, not with patches, but in entire paving, so the roads are repaired better than they have been, and people's connections from their homes, their properties to the sewer pipes are also improved. The authority is probably over the next 5 years going to spend somewhere between $15 and $30 million. Those plans are not yet specified, but it's projected to, I hope, to come to an end in the next 5 to 10 years. It all depends on the direction that we get from the state and federal government. So, without being too specific, I think that gives us a broad outline. And of course, if there are any questions about your sewer service, please don't hesitate to call the township.
Thank you. And it should be noted that each one of those projects begins with an invitation to affected owners to attend a town hall meeting, which explains what's going on with the project, how long it will last, what kind of disruptions it will be, et cetera. And it's been very useful in answering questions before they're even asked. So, thank you, Commissioner. Shade Tree, Commissioner Cross.
Yes, the next Shade Tree Commission meeting is scheduled for January 15th at 3:30 p.m. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Human Relations, Commissioner Cross.
No reports.
All right. We got to figure out what that is someday. Parks and Recreation, Commissioner Paloma.
The next meeting of the RAC will be this Tuesday, 20th, here at the town.
Thank you. Public hearings, bids and contracts. Placer AI contract, Mr. Nels, can you help us out?
Thank you, Commissioners. Before you use a proposal to purchase a one-year license agreement with Placer AI, which is a digital platform that will help us better understand how many people are attending or visiting our parks at facilities, and even when we hold those various events in the parks, so we do get a stronger count. of how many people are really using all of our facilities. I can tell you that the numbers are quite large compared to what I even thought. For example, in 2024, Veterans Park saw 180,000 visitors in a year. So now, granted, that is our busiest park with all the athletics and everything going on, but that's a sizable number compared to our population. So I've met with Place AI a number of times. The data that they receive is through cell phone data. So it's people, all of us have them. Your cell phone's on. They kind of can track where you are and where you go, which this can also help us maybe attract some sponsorships down the road as well, because we can say to the business, hey, all these people are coming to this park and then going to your restaurant.
So they got that number from cell phone?
Mhm. From cell phone data. And for a visit to count, an individual has to be at that site for 10 minutes. So it's not like just a drive-by is going to ping it. Like, they got to be physically there.
But you don't have to be using your phone, if as
No.
long as it's in your pocket or
It's
whatever.
on.
It's
They
on.
can track it.
Doug, is it exclusively cell phone data? Do they supplement it with anything else?
No, it's just cell phone.
Just
data.
cell phone?
Yes. So yeah, and a part of this 2026 budget, we have the funds allocated within that budget, so we're looking for a one-year license. A lot of this data can be used as we go into grant applications this coming year. And I think seeing how successful it is and how useful it is, with it only being a one-year commitment, with a 20-day notice, we can cancel that commitment before renewal.
Mr. President, I'd like to move for approval of the license for 1 year, limit of $10,000.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Bailey. Any discussion?
Yeah, I'm a little disturbed by this, quite frankly. Looking over the information that you sent, it looks like, and maybe in the ether, they're tracking all of us anyway. I get that argument. But the date and time of the visit, the data includes the date and time of the visit, your income, your education level, your ethnicity, the household size, I presume your dress, if they're saying you're coming from home,
They
your
have no
work
addresses.
address,
Yeah, they don't have
and your
addresses.
shopping history.
They don't have addresses.
Well, how do they know you're coming from your home? You had a chart there that showed people came from home.
It's an area. It's not a per address. So whatever agreements they have with the cell phone carriers is where they're extrapolating that demographic data. So it's through the agreements with with the various cell phone carriers.
You know, I get the value of knowing how many people come and go from our parks.
Right.
But I cannot vote to participate in tracking our residents like this. I'm sorry.
That's a good point. Any other comments or questions?
What's the overall purpose besides just getting numbers?
It's really getting a true sense of what we're seeing in our parks, how many people are utilizing our parks, how many people are utilizing or coming to our events. That's really the sole purpose. Because to be honest, when we have an event, it's a best guesstimate in terms of how many people we have show up, or how many people are utilizing our parks. Like, I would have never thought in a million years that we had 180,000 people come through Veterans Park in a year. So it's really tracking that data, so when we are going for a grant, basically proving to them the use and the demand that we have on our facilities is the need that we have for the funds that we're asking for in the future. The data that you're seeing, other than me being able to see maybe the businesses that they go to before and after to maybe help get sponsorships, I don't see us pulling that smaller income and all that kind of stuff. None of the grants that I apply for ask for that information. And if it's more of socioeconomic, I have to get that through another platform that the state supplies, that, because they're the ones making dictations if it's considered a low-income area or not. And I can tell you, we don't have low income in our township, so for me to get those types of grant is not available. So that kind of information is not my purpose. It's really getting numbers and how many people are in our facilities. I wouldn't be drawing that information down for any of the grants or any of our needs, to be 100% honest. They just gave us, those are samples that they gave us the whole stretch. The original version of this software was put out for commercial entities, so they could, then they know kind of what their business is and what kind of people they have coming in, so they can address how they want to promote their businesses. So, but they started realizing, and us in the public sector started realizing that there's an opportunity here, and they came up with versions for the civic side, essentially. And this is a park-specific product. It's not beyond, the only data I'm gonna see is on our 16 properties in the Greenbelt. So my goal was not to dive into anyone's world.
No, I appreciate that, but
So,
I just can't vote to participate in this. You know, maybe I'm just an old geezer, you know, doesn't get the new technology or something, but I'm saying I'm not gonna vote for us to participate in monitoring that kind of data on the people that visit us. I just can't do
I
it.
wonder how many other companies are already doing this.
I'm sure.
And we don't even know about this.
Well,
You know, think about when you walk into Target and all the different.
your giant bonus cards?
Yes. As soon as I pull in the Giant parking lot, it's already sending me a coupon. It's hitting my app saying, hey, don't forget to look this up at Giant.
Your
So they're already-
social media feeds, you talk about something with your family, next thing you know, you're seeing ads.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
on your computer, you look at something for 3 weeks. When you go on the internet, you get ads when you open up your homepage. They're trying to make sure you buy that.
Yeah. But I respect your position, Commissioner Rowland.
yeah.
I gotta say, I'm geezer number 2 up here.
Great.
So this is all new to me, but somebody said about, we're already probably
Yeah.
being monitored by whomever that we don't even know about. And I'm kind of comfortable with your grant. I know you're not gonna share any information like that.
Absolutely not.
Plus, if somebody wants to know about it, they're gonna find out about it the way technology is now. I don't understand it. It's scary to me, but it is what it is. So-
Whatever you click, what on your Facebook, let's say, whatever you tapped last time, guess what? A second later, they present the same ad, same company, similar
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
It's all that.
And Doug, I'm gonna say, I would guess, like the 180,000 number for veterans, that this is just giving us conservative numbers, because obviously, like at Veterans Park, there's a lot of children's activities. All those kids don't have cell phones, so it's just tracking their parents, not the actual number of visitors, because it's gonna be probably something way above that number,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Doug, as you know, I've been an officer with the Capital Area Greenbelt for 20 years. We have spent endless amounts of money and time trying to calculate how people are out there using the Greenbelt. And to think that this information is stored somewhere in a program, which brings me to my question, can you tailor it to go to different areas? Or does your report just cover your 16 parks?
It will cover the green belt in certain sections.
Within the township, right?
Yeah.
But well, that wasn't really what I was saying. Could you focus on, can you change the focus to a shopping area or anywhere else? It's strictly the township parks.
Yeah, if we would move forward with the agreement, we would identify what those park locations are, and they will build a platform to those locations only. I can't go and look at Giant and see how many people are going in and out of there. I can't look at Paxton Square or anything like that. It's only our properties.
Well, for counting the bike riders in the Tour de Belt, for instance, I mean, you could designate a Route 39 in Front Street, is that right? And that would count all 700,
Right.
900 people that come through there.
Yep. I'm more of a geezer than my fellow geezers here, and I just want to say, I think this is absolutely phenomenal.
And it's not information that we create, or, the information's already out there. It's not information that this firm creates.
Correct.
The cell phone, by virtue of being what it is, already emits the data. The question is whether or not you can collect it and make productive use of it.
Right.
Is that right? Is that
The
fair?
reality is I'm using it as a tool. I mean, I'm not publicizing it, I'm not putting it out there, I'm not gonna be putting things out on our websites. It's really a tool for us to, one, better manage our facilities so we can make sure we have the appropriate resources where we need them. And then two, to get those resources and better supply the information for grant applications in the future.
Yeah, I mean, it's just generic information, numbers, whatnot, not specifically identifying people,
No.
et cetera, it's just giving us counts.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions? Maybe we ought to do a roll call, Teresa, on this one.
Commissioner Oliver?
I'm sorry.
You vote yea or nay?
Yeah.
Commissioner Rothrock?
No.
Commissioner Sewer?
Yay, my motion.
Yes.
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 No.
Okay. Now we know who the users are.
Commissioners, at any time, if you have any other questions or need any other details, let me know. I can get you whatever.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Let's keep it.
Steve, I want to find out how they know you're pulling into the parking lot at Giant. Is it the sign on your car that says Steve?
No, it's the app, because I have the app on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it registered?
All right, let's stick to the agenda. Next up is ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2601, refinancing the 2018 bond. Ms. Everly.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're fortunate tonight to have Lou Verdelli from Rick James, Chris Gibbons from Concord Financial, and Tim Horseman from Eckerd Siemens, who are leading the way and helping us get through the financing. So if all of you, I don't know how you want to come up, we're happy to have you here. Thank you.
Guess I started in the past, I'll start this time. I'll make it quick though. We're very close to the refinancing savings of $1 million. We're about 10 basis points away, which is 0.1%. If you recall, we started this discussion, we were about 1/3 of a percent away. So we're getting very close now. Commissioner Lynch, you asked last meeting, have we incurred any costs? We have not to date. I would ask you though, since we're this close at this point, I would suggest you allow us to move ahead with the rating process. That if you never go ahead with it, you still would incur the rating costs. But I think at this point, we're getting close enough that we should consider going for the bond rating now and moving the process ahead so that as soon as you have passed the final ordinance, we can move as quickly if the market's appropriate as possible. That's the only thing that I have to add to the savings report, that is approximately $863,000.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Lou. Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, Mr. President. I would just talk briefly about the ordinance. We can talk more about it if you determine to proceed on the 22nd. But we have prepared a draft of the ordinance. These bonds would be structured very much like the 2018 bonds. These bonds would be issued as general obligation bonds of the township, meaning that they'd be backed by the township's full faith credit and taxing power. But with this structure, the debt service would ultimately be paid from the revenues of the authority. The 2018 bonds, there's a subsidy agreement between the township and the authority pursuant to which the authority transfers funds from the sewer system to pay the debt service. And as part of this transaction, the township and the authority would enter into an amendment to that subsidy agreement to cover the new bonds that would be issued. Beyond that, it's a straight refinancing for savings. It's not an extension of the overall maturity. The bonds would be issued as tax-exempt debt, so there'd be a number of representations and covenants that the township would enter into at closing with respect to the use of the proceeds. We're not foreseeing any issues, of course, because the proceeds would just simply be applied to the refinancing of the old debt. If you do have any questions about the transaction or the ordinance itself, I'm happy to answer them.
What's the difference between the current interest rate and the interest rate you're expecting to be able to get?
I will turn that to Lou and to financials.
Forecaster.
Currently, the interest rate on the existing 2018 bonds is 4%.
Right.
And we're hopeful probably to get to the savings target that Chris mentioned, we would need to be in the low 3s, and that's what we're not far away from. So you would be locking in a new interest rate that would probably be in the low 3s if we're able to meet the $1 million threshold.
And if we cannot meet the $1 million threshold, what?
Well, right now, the authority has set that as the minimum amount for us to proceed. I think if we were sitting at $860,000 for a couple of months, we would probably just ask the authority if they wanted to adjust their minimum threshold. But as of right now, we're not going to move forward to lock in the interest rates until we can produce $1 million of savings.
So the 860,000 is, we're based on the current rate we're at, that's why you're saying another, what, 0.1%?
Correct.
Would get us that extra $100,000, basically.
Right, right. And the reason why we've recommended that the township administration start the process for the credit rating to pull the operating statement together is if we're only 10 basis points off, just yesterday, interest rates in the municipal market were 4 basis points lower. So if we get a 5-6 basis point swing in a day, we can pretty quickly be where the target is. So we want to make sure that you've approved everything, which is what you're going to do on the 22nd, and that we have all the documents ready to go so that if we can hit that target, we're ready to jump right into the market, lock in an interest rate. Oh, the equivalent of the 10?
10 basis points is the 1/10 of 1% I was talking about.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
And the Fed next meetings, I think you said on the 27th, Luke?
Fed meeting's at the end of this month. I think it's 27th and 28th is the 2-day meeting. Right now, it seems to be the expectation is that they would not be changing interest rates at that meeting.
I would say, because if they would lower, say, 1/4%, that probably would do the trick.
Not necessarily, because these bonds go out about 12 years, and they're controlling interest rates on the short term. Correct. And so we haven't necessarily seen, as they've been cutting rates during the fall, we haven't necessarily seen long-term interest rates go down as much as they're cutting rates on the short end.
So you don't anticipate any changes at the end of the month? Do you base that on just a swag, or do you have, is there some data that supports that? Or?
No, just all of kind of the speak that comes out of what the Fed chairman said at the last meeting, kind of saying we're going to be data dependent, and right now there doesn't seem to be a lot of data that would support lowering rates further right now.
Didn't they just reduce at the last meeting?
Yeah.
It was a reduction, it was some
1/4%.
disagreement. I think they were only talking about maybe a couple more this whole year, so.
Right.
Assuming, nothing earth-shattering happens, okay.
Yeah, so I'm basing that on, they put out a projection of several of the governors, what they think they will do in the following year, and a lot of them only have one cut for the entire year in 2026.
All right, so Teresa, the motion is to put us in a position to pull the trigger,
Advertise.
to advertise and move on it on the 22nd. Right? Is there any, you had mentioned, Chris, I think it was Chris, about incurring costs?
Yes, again,
Does that need to be authorized, Teresa? Mike, does that need to be authorized as part of this? It's not anticipated in this motion.
It might be part of the ordinance, but we're going to look real quick.
water track right now. That's not big.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Well, would it be appropriate to do that at the 22nd meeting? Or-
No, you have to advertise the ordinance now so you can consider it in the 22nd.
Right.
Move to advertise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
See you on the 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you as well.
Save us $1 million.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Fred.
Yes, ma'am. Come on up. We already did have public comment, but,
Right, we went through it very quickly.
okay.
All right. And we're here at public hearing. Good evening.
Now, we're even past that, but,
Correct.
public comment came early, but in deference to the fact that you probably didn't hear my voice, I'm going to ask if you would like to say a few words, but please state your name and address, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes. All right.
Again, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Mary Powell. I live at 4701 Great Oak here in the township. I've been a resident for 27 years. I'm also the founder of Powell Law, and I chair our public finance group. I also had a conversation with this board in 2018. Specifically, our firm, Powell Law, conducted Susquehanna Township's first disparity study in 2018. And a comment, if you recall, is regarding the utilization of professional services. And it has been probably 15 years or so since there was diversity and inclusion considered in the utilization of counsel or co-counsel to serve in the capacity of public finance. I didn't speak earlier because these are my friends. They've left. Tim Forsman, Mike and I serve the diocese. I'm here to say you have the opportunity to have co-counsel. Our firm engages in public finance, and we have been, my husband, my children, we've been in the township for 27 years. And I'd ask that you consider, it's fine. I think you have noble representatives in the space of public finance. But I think also there's the opportunity, as was brought out in Susquehanna Township's disparity study, the need to be sufficiently inclusive when the opportunity presents itself. And a decision can be made by this board on the 22nd, as you plan to re-adjourn to consider the utilization of co-bond counsel, Powell Law, if you please. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and my sincere apologies for any inconsistency with board protocols. Thank you much.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to staff reports. Manager Everly.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a comment to make about 2025, if I may. As we look back on all the things that happened in 25, my first year here, I think we recognize a lot of successes and built on those successes from our previous years. And it's been a great partnership working with you. And I just wanted to recognize the leadership that has guided us through some of these tough decisions. the board's support has really been a true anchor and allowed our team to set sail with doing many different things. And to our staff who's here, I know it's been a challenging year. Our first year was defined as a true team. They've worked creatively. They've been deeply dedicated and incredibly supportive, not only to the board, to me, but to each other. So I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to be here a year, and we look forward to doing many, many great things in '26. That's all.
Thank you. Public safety, please.
Nothing, sir.
Nothing. Public works, anything, Doctor?
Nothing, sir.
Engineering, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
And Law Bureau?
Law Bureau would like to notice that Mrs. Powell was kind enough to talk about noble counsel. She was talking about my partner, not me. So, you know, I'm not used to being referred to as noble, and I'm not sure I'm comfortable with it. But it was kind of her to say that.
Ignoble.
She is ignoble. She is my friend and colleague, so thank you. That's all I have.
He's a charmer, isn't he?
Not
Just a simple country life.
It's a country lawyer. Parks and Recreation, you have any more, Doc?
Yeah, my report.
New business, consent agenda, and we have 4 items on here. They are approval statement of bills for December 2025, approve financial security adjustment number 1 for Susquehanna Union Green Phase 4. HRG recommends financial security be adjusted to $410,156. C, approved financial security adjustment number 2 for Chase Bank, 2323 Legostown Road. HRG recommends financial security be released in full. And finally, D, approved financial security adjustment number 3 for Laurel Hill Land Development. HRG recommends financial security be adjusted to $225,378. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So,
Second.
Moved and second. Comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is, again, Mr. Canals, turf maintenance equipment purchase. Consideration.
Thank you again. As we are moving into '26, one of our goals and plans was to bring in our athletic field maintenance as far as herbicides and fertilizers in-house instead of contracting it out. Our current park maintenance professional, Luke Bellick, is a certified pesticide applicator for both parks and schools and lawn and turf. So he will be our applicator, but we would need 2 pieces of equipment to successfully complete our goals, and that would be a 150-gallon 3-point sprayer and a new broadcast spreader, which would spread our granule fertilizer. The 150-gallon sprayer would be used for both our herbicides and liquid fertilizers. So we've been in contact with Land Pro Equipment out of Halifax. They are the John Deere dealer, which this equipment will match our John Deere tractor, so that they're compatible. Under their CoStarz contract for $4,393, we had $5,000 budgeted, so we're coming a couple bucks under.
Move to purchase the equipment.
Second.
Moved and seconded. You got that, Leanne?
Got it.
All right. Any comments or questions?
I'm just curious, will Luke have assistance? Seems like, I mean, for one person with all the fields and whatnot, in terms of, because I think that's great that we're doing it in-house for the cost savings and getting the equipment, but would he have other assistance in doing this?
Yeah, we have been bringing in a part-time seasonal staff member as well, typically in the beginning of March. We won't be doing this application until late April, early May. is when you do your first applications. So with this, we have time to get the equipment in before that time, plus finalize our application products that we're going to use and everything by that point in time.
Do we know what the cost savings will be by doing it in-house as opposed to?
I mean, last year we spent almost 7,000 on both applications.
Wow.
So total, so already just at 4,300, we're already in the savings. Once I go through, we just got our soil reports back from Penn State. So once we go through that and identify the proper materials to put down, I suspect we'll be kind of break even, but then we'll be recouping more as we move forward in the future.
That makes sense.
So, but I can tell you, typically the practice from the previous applicator was the same thing year in and year out, and getting our tests back, it's clear that we're deficient in certain areas. So just doing the same thing year in and year out isn't beneficial. So doing it this way, we can address the needs we need, hopefully end up with a better field and better product out in the parks.
So what's the expected lifespan of the equipment?
We've had a tractor for 25 years, so, I mean, we maintain our stuff very well, and it's protected in the weather and so forth, so there should be at least, I'm gonna say 15 to be on the safe side, just in case.
And the benefit of doing it in-house too is you can apply it the day you want to apply it, not where the contractor comes in and he's applying it when it's raining.
Right.
And, you know, didn't pick up the leaves, and you can control it.
Yes.
All right, any other comments or questions? We have a motion on the floor, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is 3905 New Deposit Road, Chuckalina Cafe. Manager Rember.
Thank you, Mr. President. In your, there's a copy in your packet for the request for a variance submitted by Chuckalina Cafe. Their business is at 6125 Galleon Drive in Mechanicsburg, and they intend to operate a coffee shop for the preparation and sale of assorted menu items at the Union Square Shopping Center, 3905 Union Deposit Road. They've approached and submitted a variance for the requirement of a 1,000-gallon grease trap, and is asked to be waived. They did meet with the authority, and they approved the variance request. With the approval, there's a requirement to do a memorandum of understanding, which was also approved by the authority. So they're here for the consideration and motion to approve the variance and the memorandum of understanding.
Is there a motion on the variance?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved, seconded, and third. Let's see, Napper,
Pick whoever you want.
Northern. Sorry. Get you next time. On the variance, any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And on the MOU,
So moved.
Second.
moved and seconded by the other variance. Sorry, Charlie. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. And finally, updated 2026 employee handbook. Manager Everett.
Thank you, Mr. President. We had a very good foundation with the existing handbook that we have. The 2023 has some excellent provisions in it. But this opportunity that we had, we chose to look at modernizing some of the language in the handbook, given the legal and regulatory environment we all live in. We added some clarity by simplifying and standardizing some of the rules. And we tried to address some of the gray area that is in the handbook in hopes of making consistent decisions. And we look for opportunities to invest in our staff by investing in some benefits. So there's also some language in there that helps to define how we can work better together and change our or continue our organizational culture. So with that said, I think it's ready for approval. And I'd like to personally thank everybody that's helped on, and if you look at the stack in my office, I think the paperwork is like this high. So I think Leanne, she's been very, very helpful, Edward Siemens, and my editor, Commissioner Hisser.
Move to approve the employee handbook.
I'd like to second that.
Moved and second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner comments? You wish to alleviate it?
Question concerning the dates. Huh?
Go ahead. Dates?
What'd you say? Leanne,
Yes.
we received the dates at the sewer authority for all the dates. Did we approve the dates for this?
Yeah, at our reorg meeting.
We already did that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry,
Right.
please forgive me.
So, from what I understand, the authority approved them on Tuesday,
That's correct.
and,
We did that for that, but do we do it for the township meeting is what I'm asking.
yes.
We did that at the.
It was that big block.
Yeah, I'll
meeting.
go through it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Any other comments? Any other big questions? All those. Wishing to adjourn. Motion.
You got a football game to
Sanderson.
watch?
Anderson? Is there a second?
Second.
Yes, sir. Move to second. Comments, questions, all in favor?
Aye.
We are out of here. Thank you, everybody. Good night.